Alright, lettuce and germs, we're back with the NuXT system build. For those that are just tuning in, this is basically a micro ATX PCXT clone. The board itself manufactured by Monotech PCs, I believe I think they're out of Australia. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look that up. But basically, this is a modern incarnation of the PCXT with a couple of modern things on it. Actually, more than a couple. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with any of this hardware, but this power supply. This machine has been sitting around out here waiting for me to bring it inside and do something with it for quite a while now. While I don't think there's anything wrong with it, at work I have had a number of power supplies blow up on me this past summer, some of them quite violently, when they've been in systems that have sat around in heat and humidity for several months. And because I don't really want to use this power supply anyway, and I want something that's fully modular, I'm just going to swap it. I'll still use it. Oh sure, I'll put it into something else. I have a project in mind for it. If it's going to explode, I'd rather it explode in something that I don't actually care too much about, and something that I didn't put, real money in, like this NuXT here. So because I wanted full modularity, that is what I ended up getting. Check out this overkill monstrosity. 250 watts, which is, I think, what that power supply in there right now is. Yeah, that's a 250 watt. 250 watts is probably overkill. I think the original PC had a the PCXT. The original PC was less. I think the PCXT was 135 watts. This is 750 watt. This is the cheapest option in terms of fully modular power supplies. If it looks familiar, it's because, yes, it certainly should. I've used at least 2 of them. And that one's certainly in a build. I'd rather not have 750 watts, but I wanted the full modularity. And I probably could go onto eBay and find some China Pride that, would put out about 450 watts that's fully modular, direct from China. But again, I want a power supply I can trust, And sure, they probably come out of the same factory, but I'd like to think that these are held to a higher standard than a lot of that Chinesium junk that you can find. But, yeah, fully modular. Main Japan cap, that's funny. Single 12-volt rail, probably doesn't really matter to us. And, of course, a smart fan, which, again, probably doesn't really matter to us. You can pause the video if you'd like to read that. If you can, past the reflection of the idiot that's operating the camera on YouTube. I don't know who OEMs these. I want to say it was Seasonic, but I don't remember. Again, you can pause the video to read this if you'd like. This is what it comes with. We're not going to be using basically any of these. The only thing I need is this peripheral connector. And of course the motherboard power. I don't need anything else. So, we'll open it up here. And I may even just do that right on video, because I probably can do that here right on video. This is exciting stuff, folks. Completely unscripted. Might even be unedited, at least this part of it. But that's, that's the style of video that I do. The lazy style. Wow, the label is actually stuck to the back. Interesting. Probably static cling. Okay. Now, if I remember right. Oops, like that. And things fall out of it, like the screws, which I might use. This is a pretty nice power cord. The only thing that I don't like about this power cord that it comes with is that it's got this thing around the edge, so if you've got something where the cord needs to go particularly snug into it, this won't fit very well, but probably works just fine. Of course, the desiccant, pretty typical. Power supply itself, which is a decent weight. know, not some featherweight piece of crap. Again, like the Chinesium no doubt would be. And the cables. Let me go ahead and pull these cables out. Okay, got all that out of there. You know, it really kind of amazes me how much plastic is in some of these things. You know, covers of plastic. There's styrofoam, which is a kind of plastic, I believe anyway, polystyrene. There's just, these are wrapped in plastic. There's so much plastic. We're supposed to be a plastic-free society, or at least getting close to a plastic-free society. But it seems that once they enacted that rule, there's more plastic everywhere. I don't know. I won't delve too much deeper into that, because that's a great way to get yourself flamed. But what we have here is our 20 plus 4 pin power connector. I only need 20 pins, but I will need that. This is a SATA. I don't need that. This looks like, what is this? Is this PCI Express? Looks like PCI Express. I don't need that. This is motherboard. I don't need that. Oh, here we go. Here's our peripheral connections. I will need that too. And the rest of this, that's another motherboard power. That's SATA. And then this is another PCI Express. So that's pretty much it, folks. Of course, these are the same power supply, so I don't mind just throwing these into this box. Trying to cut down on the number of boxes of things I've got everywhere. So let me clean all this up and we'll get ready to put the power supply in here. Well, that degenerated quite quickly. As proof that no good deed ever goes unpunished. No, it's not dead. Yet. But I'm going to have to really look over this to make sure that it doesn't die. What do I mean by that? Well, in addition to the power supply, this was just supposed to be a power supply, but I noticed that the 5 1/4 inch floppy drive had a Torx screw in it. And I didn't want that. So I thought, oh, I'll replace it with a new screw. Guess what? The screw head broke off with the screw halfway in the screw hole. And when I went to go replace it, or fix it, I ended up drilling a new screw hole in this friggin' floppy drive. So this floppy drive is probably toast. I don't think I can ever use this again. Well, maybe. I don't know if I can put a screw in there, though. I don't think that's the appropriate size for a screw. No. So that won't work. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I guess I'm going to have to replace this floppy drive. But, in the meantime, metal shavings got all over the place, because I didn't do it in the case, but they got in the case anyway. So, there's probably metal all over this. Well, this actually isn't too bad. I do know, however, that there's metal all over the inside of the bottom of the case. And you can see it. If you take a quick look, you can see it. It's everywhere. So, I'm going to have to, and I was hoping not to get out the air compressor, but I'm going to have to get out the air compressor and clean this out. And then hopefully, I can just brush off the motherboard, and there's not dirt all over the inside of that motherboard. I probably should have cleaned this anyway, and I do have a spare 5 1/4 inch floppy drive sitting over here. But I don't remember if that works or not. I think it does not. Alright, there it is with the cleaned case, at least as clean as it's ever going to get. Notice all the rust on it. There's not much I can really do about that. That's what happens to all these cases. I don't really know why. Other than they're in a humid environment, but really, you know, they haven't been around that long. They shouldn't be rusting this badly. They're supposed to be coated. But anyway, I have a new floppy drive, new 5 1/4 inch floppy drive. It doesn't really look any different than the other one. I think the difference is that this old one had an amber activity LED. This one's got a green one. I hope it works. I am not 100% positive, and really I think it doesn't, but you know, we'll try it. I also hope that this cable is plugged in correctly. The interesting thing about this is that I've always heard that on 3 1/2 inch floppy drives, the red stripe... Anyway, after that rude interruption, I don't even remember what I was talking about. I think I was talking about the red stripe on the floppy drive. All of my previous experiences have told me that this red stripe has got to be facing the power connector on the 3 1/2 inch. I don't think that's how it was installed in here. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think somewhere along the line this cable is backwards. But you know what? It can only go one way on the 5 1/4, so this is the way it's going to be. And I gotta put the power supply in. Okay, that's in. This case pisses me off. I don't understand what they were thinking with this 5 1/4 inch bay, because that doesn't fit. It's not going to matter how you do this. You can't put a power supply in here with the 5 1/4 inch devices in there. CD-ROM is not any bigger than that floppy drive. So I bet that I'll find when I go to put this in here that it's going to bank right up against the power supply, and I'm not even going to be able to put it in there at all. In which case, you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to pull it out and I'm putting a blank there. Because, like I said, I have no patience for this crap. And I think when I'm in the process here, I'm going to pull both of these little quick release things out of here because, again, they have no purpose. So I'm going to put the modular cables on this, and then we'll power it up and see if firing it up becomes a literal experience. At the rate things are going, I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, there it is. Cable management be damned. At least it's not quite as bad as the other one. There's not a giant Medusa hanging off of it. But those cables are still quite a bit longer than they really need to be. And I'm still not sold on that floppy drive. I'm probably going to have to change that cable, but let's go ahead and bring it over there. And like I said, hope that firing it up does not become a literal experience. Alright, here it is. Plugged in, power's off right now. Let's just go for broke. Oh, hasn't exploded yet. There we go. It is still working. Yay! I didn't kill it. That fan sounds like it's a little bad. That's in the back of the case there. So, let's see. Didn't tell me anything about the floppy drive being bad. Do I have solid lights? Yup. I do. So that means that the cable's backwards. That's great. Okay. Take two. The lights. Okay. We'll check the 3.5 inch drive first. Not ready. Is the cable set up wrong? Oh, that's weird. Both drives are going off. That's not supposed to happen. Okay. Nope. Still nothing. So I'm going to flip that back, and I'm actually probably going to take this drive out and check the drive select jumpers, because I wonder if that's the problem. Okay, moment of truth. The A drive works. I'm going to change the drive select jumper. How much do you want to bet the B drive doesn't work? Ah, looks like that doesn't work. Just made the system lock up. Wow. You know, I don't think I care. Alright, so between camera stupidities and computer stupidities, let's see what's going on now. I have a solid light. I don't have a solid light. That's good. It also didn't explode, which is good. Real-time clock, is that correct? It's 8:51 right now. That's close. It's about 30 minutes out. I don't know how it managed to do that, but let's see if this one works any better. If it still works at all. Again, like I said, if it doesn't, I'm not sure that I care. That sounds great. Okay, well I can guarantee you it wasn't doing that before. It might be doing that because it's riding up on something. Yeah, that doesn't seem like it's working. In fact, that's actually even worse than the other drive. So, I give up. I guess we're just not going to have a 5 1/4 inch floppy in this for a while. Okay, quickly wrap this up at this point because I'm done really troubleshooting. I have it to the point where the B drive is working, or sorry, the A drive is working. It's about 3.5 inch, but the 5 1/4 is not, and I don't know if it's that disc or if it's the drive. The drive doesn't sound very good, so I'm going to assume that it's probably the drive, and I will just have to find a replacement drive from somewhere. So, for right now, the other one was giving me the same problem, so it's not like that one's any better. So for right now, I'm just going to say goodnight to this, and we'll revisit it later. Maybe put a good floppy drive in it, but like I was saying, I don't really use the 5 1/4 inch, it's just in there for show anyway, so even if it sits there and I never use it for anything, I think we're still fine.